So it's fun. It's fun to have all of these different people who I've known in so many different ways and so many different aspects of life coming together here. It's really sweet. Some old friends and clients from Vermont, people who've traveled with me to Peru and Mexico and Bali and Italy and where else have we gone? Different places. And in all those places that we've traveled together, there's always been a theme that's connected to one of the qualities of essence, which is a little bit of what I want to talk about today, that follows the thread of what we've been exploring and opening to. So in all the different spiritual traditions, there are different ways that they use concepts about essence, about the personality and ego, spirit, the soul. They don't always mean the same thing. So if I kind of roll back just a little bit to where we began this series, we were exploring the fact that love itself, as the basic component and essential quality of all life, isn't a something, but it's a presence. And that it's a presence that can only be fully experienced when our hearts are open. So we can look at all of the other, you know, from the viewpoint of our personality and ego, we look at our personality and we see that we all have different characteristics that make us who we are, different things that we experience as gifts, and we also have aspects of ourselves that we experience as challenges or distortions. Some of those qualities, when they're flowing in us and we're in touch with them, bring us great ease, or bring to others around us through our presence something that is needed, something that is comforting. So if we look at love from the essential part of our nature, from our true nature, as the one component that everything is made of, then all of the other characteristics or essential qualities of our true nature, like strength or joy or will or clarity, wisdom, they're all emanations of that. So we could look at all the essential qualities as the many faces of love. So as we began, we looked at, that what is love itself? It's not a commodity, it's not a concept, it's not even a feeling, it's a presence. And that's one of the ways that we experience our deeper nature. As we bring our awareness to that sense of presence, there's another way that we experience our deeper nature, which is as presence itself. And it's not something that we need to transcend this reality to experience or cultivate in ourselves. We can experience this deeper reality through our physical presence, our physical body, and the space around us. So we were exploring letting our awareness become aware of the space in front of us, the space behind us, the space to the left of us and to the right of us, space above us and below us. That our awareness and our experience isn't limited to the boundary of our physical body. We can actually expand to sense the space around us, which we've talked about as a living presence. And as we open to that living presence, and allow it to, or invite it actually, to wake itself up within us. There's something that people often experience when they have moments of awakening, that it's as if awareness itself is seeing itself for the first time. So we sense the space and the room that we're sitting in, and feel the support of the chair or the cushion that you're seated on. Feel your feet on the ground, touching the earth if they are on the ground. Let your awareness expand a bit further to sense the presence of the earth itself. And in acknowledgement of the living being that is our Mother Earth, our Pachamama, we ask permission to be together in this way, to enter this sacred medicine together. As we ask permission, we acknowledge that our words, our thoughts, our actions have an impact on the entirety of the cosmos. So we remind ourselves of that by turning towards this being who gives us life, out of which our bodies were formed from the matter of the earth. And begin to find a comfortable position that allows you to be both relaxed and attentive at the same time. So you want to find a position, and it's fine to move around. This isn't a rigid practice. To let yourself adjust your posture as you need to both relax into the intimacy of your own being, of your own presence, and at the same time, holding an attitude of awake awareness, of attentiveness. And just take a moment to feel where you are in this moment. Notice the sensations in your body. In this practice, we welcome everything as it is. So allow everything to be exactly as it is. If you have thoughts racing through your mind, just make a space for that. by holding that inner posture of awake awareness, we can be present to the movement of our thoughts without engaging them or rejecting them. If there are emotional feelings that are moving through you, we make a space for that, a place for that to be held with kindness. And if your physical body has sensations that are painful or uncomfortable, just turn towards whatever you're noticing and make a space for that to be held in loving kindness, for it to be present, for it to open. We know that from our experience, everything is always in a state of change. So even the sensations in our body, the emotions flowing through our heart and our experience, the arising of thoughts, if we give it permission to be there, to be here, honoring that if it is here, it has a purpose, and its purpose is to move through us, to be digested, to be metabolized, not controlled. So as you allow yourself to find this comfortable position and maintain an inner posture of attentiveness, feel into your breath. Just notice your breath. Try to make it be any certain way. Just be with it. Notice that it arises out of this presence. It's a mystery as to where it originates. Can't pinpoint that. And as we exhale, it returns to the mystery. So again, sense the space around you. Notice that as you move your body and as your breath enters and leaves your body, this space yields to receive you unconditionally. And if you sense the quality of the space now, allow yourself to open to it as a presence. That's been with you since the moment you were born and before. It's never left you. So this presence, we don't often allow ourselves to engage with in this way, to receive, to even acknowledge. But it's one of the boundless dimensions of being, of our being. Has no judgments. It's not directing you in any way. It's aware of and present to the unfolding of your human journey. And its nature is love. It's goodness. This present in this presence in its deepest state is emptiness. But not a deficient emptiness. And what arises out of this presence are different forms of consciousness, different ways that it can experience itself, express itself, know itself. We also are forms of consciousness. But we have the gift of self-reflection to be able to actually turn around and look back on ourselves, to be aware that we are both the origin of consciousness and the expression of consciousness. We're the experience of it and the one who experiences whatever is arising. So in the deepest essence, the deepest nature, if we were to experience ourselves from within the void, the emptiness, we would see that there's nothing here, and yet there's consciousness. And as life arises out of this emptiness, what we call essence are the irreducible qualities that our human soul is made of, and that move through the human journey. So these qualities are qualities like joy, strength, brilliancy, radiance. They're all distinguishable. We can feel the difference in their nature. There's personal love and universal love. There's an essential quality of will. Each of them, when they're flowing through us naturally, not when we're trying to approximate them, but when they're actually flowing through us, from our nature give us certain capacities. So, for example, when the quality or essence of true strength is flowing through us, we feel a sense of vitality, a sense of aliveness, of capacity, of courage. It gives us the ability to move, to direct our energy in a certain way, to create. Without this particular essential quality, nothing would move. But it's not something that we create. It's part of who we are. And the essential quality of compassion arises. It brings with it a sense of tenderness, of sensitivity, of warmth. So we don't become compassionate. Compassion arises in us when we're relaxed, and it's needed. There's a sense of, yes, tenderness. Compassion is needed a great deal these days. So is strength. Another essential quality, the quality of will, when it's flowing through us, gives us a sense of steadfastness. When we're in the presence of it, we feel upright, we feel supported internally. We have a knowing that even if things are difficult, we'll get where we're going. Even if we don't know how, we know we will. So these qualities have particular characteristics that are universal. And when they're flowing and open in us, and we're able to live in a way that's without internal conflict, the constellation of all of these qualities is referred to in the Sufi tradition, or some traditions, as the pearl beyond price. It's the true personality. When we're blocked around these qualities, then the ego and personality have to try to mimic them. They remember what they feel like. So for instance, strength, when the ego is trying to be strong, has a kind of toughness to it. Compassion, when somebody's not really in touch with it, can be a kind of sweetness that doesn't feel good. It can be a kind of manipulative sweetness. Will, when we're blocked to will, can have a kind of pig-headedness, pushiness. But when they're flowing in their natural state, there's no tension in them. They bring capacities that are part of our nature. Cynthia just asked what it was that I referred to that as, and it's the pearl beyond price. So this boundless dimension of presence has a fundamental feeling of goodness. When we feel into the presence that's here in the room, without any concepts about it, we recognize that it flows through everything. And it has this overall quality of goodness. Even though there are difficult things, challenging things, ways that life is not respected, that's our free will, there's still something that runs through all of it that holds it all together, that's always been here. It has a fundamental goodness to its nature. That's what we're opening to. I spoke last week of being in the world but not of it. To be present, fully present and engaged in this life, but not identified and caught up with the story as having any ultimate truth to it. There's something deeper that has an ultimate truth. And so we look into ourselves, we inquire into ourselves to see what's ultimately true, unchanging about life. So everything that we find in our personality has a corresponding truth in our essential nature. So as we sit in this presence tonight together, feel into your heart and see if you can notice what quality is arising that wants to be experienced and given the room to live as you in this moment. If you're feeling a sense of conflict, it means that there's some quality trying to get through that's pushing what's in the way to the surface. So see if you can feel the conflict, if that's what's there, and just ask what else is here. What else is here? Who am I? If I'm not the story, if I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions, because they come and go. I'm not my sensations, they come and go. Then who am I? One of the ways of making space for our essence to arise is to notice that there's a part of us that is always completely still. It's a part of us that's always completely silent and awake. We can be aware of that even when there's activity going on. Even as you hear the sound of my voice or the sound of your thoughts, there's a part of you right now and always that is completely still and completely silent. It's what's there in the space between the words. In the silence between the notes of a song. In the space, in the room that you're sitting in, that allows you to see the object. It's still, it's silent, but it's alive. And if we actually enter it as an experience rather than a concept, to feel the stillness, at a very deep level in the presence that is you through the vehicle of your physical body. There are subtle senses, inner senses, that can open up to the deepest stillness and silence that is both present in the entire cosmos, but it's also present in you because it's one and the same. It's not a state, it's an essential quality of your nature. It's unchanging. So we can take a moment together, a few moments, just rest in the part of yourself that is always still, always silent. Let your awareness locate itself there. Notice how even your thoughts become intrigued by this silence. It's what they arise out of and return to. In the stillness and the silence is the essential quality of peace. And anything that is not ultimately true dissolves in the presence of this quality of our essence. So it's both the essential quality of peace and true power. And it's a part of our nature. So anything that we're wanting to transform or feeling the process of transformation around, we lovingly offer it to this deep, deep stillness and silence. That it's a part of our nature that has the ability to dissolve all distortions. As we approach this part of ourself, we can feel often the scurrying of our personality, of our ego, because it knows that if it actually touches this deep stillness, its reality will fall away. And yet it's what we all long for. We long to rest in the silence of our being. It's what we usually turn to meditation for. And it's why it can be challenging to be still. But it's not something other than us. It's a part of our nature. It's also one of the faces of love. Most of us have heard that phrase, be still and know that I am God. Or simply be still and know that I am. So when this quality of peace is flowing through us, the felt sense of the heart is I am. So the beautiful thing about this human journey is, one of the beautiful things, is that everything that we find in our personality and ego has a corresponding aspect in our true nature. The way that we can tell the difference between which is operating is that when our personality is driving the show, there's a feeling of tension in it. When our true nature is flowing naturally, there's no tension, there's no striving. There's just the arising of whatever we need in that moment. But we need to be able to cultivate conditions in our life that allow enough spaciousness, which is also one of the characteristics of this still, silent aspect of ourself. We need enough spaciousness to feel what's more subtly here, to recognize who we are, what it is that we're made of, what's arising in us. It's actually present to serve us, to serve the moment. So we need a certain amount of curiosity, which is part of the quality of joy, curiosity of wonder, that kind of childlike wonder that's unconditioned. Like, what's here? What's really here? Who am I really? Let's look into whatever's arising. We can be joyful or full of joy, fullness, and also in touch with the part of ourself that is still and silent at the same time. They actually go hand in hand. And out of that curiosity, that's the spark that opens our awareness to all of the possibilities that are present in this moment. Once that spark is ignited, the part of us that is strength arises to begin to move us towards the truth of ourself. It may arise as a creative impulse. It may arise as the need to set a boundary or to move something out of the way or to move towards what we love. So that strength essence is the fuel. And then, like our practice, our spiritual practices that we return to, or certain things that we do for ourselves because we need self-care, there's a quality of determination, of steadfastness, of continuing to return to ourself, towards what feels aligned. That arises naturally. That we know we can get where we're going. We don't create that. We don't manufacture that. It's part of us. And because the journey isn't always easy, we need compassion. We need tenderness, warmth. For the things that are challenging for us or painful for us, rather than thinking of them as needing healing, what they really need is holding. Everything is welcome. Everything is held with loving kindness. When we meet ourselves and we meet what's going on in the world with an attitude of loving kindness, it has a tendency to relax and open and reveal itself. And we need spaciousness. So we need to be present enough to feel which of those qualities is arising and wanting the space to live in us in any given moment. And which of those 5 qualities of joy, strength, will, compassion, and peace are we most familiar with, and which are the ones that we tend to not notice or forget about? It's like having the paint palette. And each of these qualities are essential qualities. They're necessary for our journey. They're part of who we are. And if we trust in the unfolding of our nature, which we see in everything, everywhere, in a constant state of unfolding, these qualities will be there for us as needed. In these times, the quality that is greatly needed is stillness. Silence. Because in the stillness and the silence that's present here within us, we can feel the loving nature that runs through everything and everyone. Not as an idea, but as an experience. The distortions are always louder. They're compelling. So we return to the stillness and the silence to say, what else is here? What is here that never changes, that's eternal? That has within it an inner guidance, but no judgment. Allow yourself to settle just a little bit more, to let your awareness turn towards what it is in you right in this moment. It is completely still and quiet. And in this particular part of yourself, you will also find the one that is always awake. The one that is always awake is in front of you, behind you, in the space to the left of you, to the right of you, above you, and below you. Awake to, aware of whatever is moving through you. It's a presence that is love. It has no content, no history. It's not bounded by the moment of birth and death. It's what's aware of it. Breathing, feeling, deepening, watching, and letting go. And this one that's always awake is here as you in this moment. It's also everywhere and in everything. So as we come into these last few moments of our time together, remembering, sensing, feeling into the body of our Mother Earth, who's hosting this great time of transformation, who gives us life, who gives us breath. We say thank you. To our ancestors who sit with us in this time, who paved the pathways that have brought us to be here in this way, in this time. We say thank you. To our guides, our teachers, both those who are in this life in form and those who are in the formless worlds, we say thank you. to the angelic presences, the masters who illuminate the pathways of our becoming. We say thank you. As we turn towards this circle woven through love into a beautiful tapestry of color, of sound, of light, a body of healing, a body of collective awakening. Into the consciousness that is present within this circle tonight as all of us. We say thank you. And as we turn towards ourselves, towards the inner heart of this being who is walking this path as you, for the courage to be here in this time, to walk this path, in this time of transformation. We joyfully say thank you.